All right, book review time. So, as you probably figured out by watching all of my book reviews so far on this channel, most of them are going to be crime thrillers. But I am still a huge fan of reading horror books. And this one obviously piqued my interest. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy the ebook version of it, which I did. There's my Kindle Fire. So there it is, Mark Watson and The Return to Innsmouth, or people say Innsmouth, and other Cthulhu mythos stories. It's modern visions of cosmic horror from the worlds of H.P. Lovecraft. So I go into this. I have a big collection of Lovecraft things. I even have this sitting on my little Cthulhu sitting on my desk here, right next to my hotcake syrup from McDonald's from like months ago, in case I ever need some hotcake syrup. Or Cthulhu does. I'll put him right on top of that, protecting it. None of that is getting cut. Anyway, so I was like, you know what? This looks interesting. I do love a good Lovecraftian tale. And Shadows over Innsmouth is probably my favorite H.P. Lovecraft story, right? Shadows over, is that what it is? Shadows over. Anyway. And so I was like, you know what? I mean, I've written Keyport Cthulhu. I wrote a trilogy setting Cthulhu in Keyport, New Jersey. So I'm a big fan. Always been a big fan. Read Lovecraft as a teenager, understood some of it. So this is basically, it's a novella and then some short stories, Lovecraft inspired stories at the end. And I liked it. I'm going to tell you. You start reading it and you immediately go, okay, this author has really done his homework with writing. It's not necessarily like he's writing in Lovecraft style, but it is akin to a slightly more updated version. So he is very, very big on basically he's very big on setting a mood, and also like you're reading this and I'm like 6-7 chapters into this and I'm like, I feel cold, I feel damp, I feel like I'm submerged in water. There's just a feeling. There is a claustrophobic feeling to this story. There is, again, you're there, you're in it. The details are there's a lot of detail in this. Okay, there's a lot of Lovecraft things. Again, I'm not going to give you spoiler or anything, but it's basically the idea of this person and his girlfriend. They go to what myth, and his grandfather had talked about it in his later years. So they're like, let's go check this out. And it's obviously years later from the Lovecraft story, and so the town is falling apart still, and the whole thing. I just realized I'm wearing my Lovecraft shirt. See. And so I'm reading this and I'm like, I want to get to the end, not because I don't like it. I actually really like this story, but it's like I'm reading this at night before I go to bed, and then I'm having weird dreams. I read this over like 4 or 5 nights, and it's just like, there's just so much to it. There's so much to this. If you're a Lovecraft fan, you're going to enjoy this. If you're not a Lovecraft fan, well, you're not going to enjoy anything, and I don't even want to talk to you. It's creepy. You don't know what's going to happen next, okay? And just looking at this, so it's I'm going to just read a little thing. In this haunting collection of Lovecraft-inspired tales, Mark Watson leads readers into the shadowed corners of New England's coast, drowned cities, and bleak cosmic vistas, where reality frays and eldritch entities whisper through brine and darkness. What begins as the search for a missing woman in a decaying seaside town unfolds into a broader tapestry of forbidden cults, deep one packs, cyclopean architecture, and the ever present call of Cthulhu rising from abyssal depths. I'm sure I said half those words wrong, but you get the idea. And so it's good and fun. It's definitely Lovecraft. You know what I'm saying? It says Watson summons the specters of the shadow over Innsmouth, the call of Cthulhu, and at the Mountains of Madness, and reshapes them into new nightmares of identity, obsession, transformation, and ancestral doom. Expect tentacle gods, abyssal chants, forgotten bloodlines, and the relentless pressure of cosmic horror that closes in like the deep sea itself. And it does. You're wet after reading this this story. You feel like I'm sitting here. I'm in Florida, and I'm like, I feel cold. I'm laying here. I feel cold. I feel damp. I feel like I got to go get a towel. That's how good this stuff is. So happy with that. So also, you get to the end, and then there are some short stories, which are Lovecraftian. Okay, so I'll just tell you the you get the Return to Innsmouth, then you get the Grimhaven, the Return of the King in Yellow, Murder in the Miskatonic, the Fifth Corner, which was a really creepy story. I liked all of them, but that one I really particularly liked. And then kind of a funny one to end it out. Don't Tell Mom, The Babysitter's Undead. So some really good short stories at the end here as well. Not as much what I would call flowery prose like the book itself is, which is good because I was like, oh, I hope we're not going to get into a lot of this. I hope I'm not going to feel cold and wet with these short stories, which I did not, which was good. They were still really good short stories. All of them were very good. And I don't believe I've read anything from this author before, which is weird. I know I'm following him on Substack and probably in a couple of other places, and I would definitely I saw the ads for this, a bunch of times, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just let me just buy this, and I'm glad I did. I liked it. I liked it more than I thought I was going to be because I've read a ton of H.P. Lovecraftian stories over the years, and a lot of times they're just let's just throw in a bunch of tentacled monsters and let's just make this this is about death and a creature chasing people around an old abandoned town kind of thing, and you lose the cosmic horror element. So this definitely has the cosmic horror element to it, which I'm a big fan of. So I don't know if Mark Watson's done more Lovecraft stuff. I don't know, but I'm going to definitely check out. This will be an author that I'm going to check more. Now, if you've read this author, if you've read this book, whatever the case may be, let me know. I would like to trade some notes with you. I would like to know what you thought about this book, or about anything that the author puts out. It's very rare these days that I see something, oh, this is cool, I'm going to go buy this. A lot of times I get free books. A lot of times I get people are telling me, no, you got to read this, you got to read this, you got to read this, and then I'm grabbing those books. So this is one of these few rare books that I'm like, cover is really cool. The idea is good. Let's do this. So that being said, I'm going to give this. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5, which I think is a very good score, because it's a very good book, and it kept me entertained for several nights. And again, like I said, a couple of nights I had some really bizarre dreams after reading this book. I'm like, I probably shouldn't be reading horror books before I go to bed. I guess I'm getting because I'm getting too old for that. I don't know. So check it out. Do me a favor. I'll put a link to the book in the description. Grab yourself a copy. But let me know if you've read this, or if you're planning on reading it, or if you've read anything else by this author as well. And also hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. I would love to. I would love for you to do that. I'm trying to build up this channel. I'm trying to get more subscribers. I'm trying to get more hours in, and so all these things, all this means check out this, and also check out all my other book reviews, TV show reviews, movie reviews. I do every Wednesday and Sunday. I do a writing video where I talk about me as a writer, my writing of stuff. And I've written a lot of horror over the years, and I write crime thrillers. And I've written, again, Keyport Cthulhu. Check those out. I'm not going to be cheesy and put the link to those in the description. I'll put the link to this book. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for watching. I appreciate everything. And if you are Mark Watson, great job. I appreciate what you're doing. I really do.